Nutrition. This is like the be all and end all question. And there's just so much information out there about nutrition that really, it can be the most basic or most confusing thing in the world based on how you think about it. The way I see it is just a simple analogy. If I'm gonna spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on a Ferrari, I'm not gonna put in shitty gas. I'm gonna give it the best gas I can possibly afford because, it's my fucking Ferrari. And people have one body that you have to live in for your whole fucking life. And yet you'll spend more money on buying like Armani jeans than like putting decent food in your body. For me, I wanna look good from the inside out. I don't wanna have a body that looks like absolute shit and doesn't work properly and then just like cover it up with all this expensive clothes. Because at the end of the day, this is the only body you have and you gotta live with it for, 80 or 90 years. Well, if you're eating like shit, you'll probably get 50. My name is Satanta Carroll and today I'm gonna be talking about nutrition. There's 4 steps in my mind that you need to put together an awesome nutrition plan to get yourself from point A to point B. Point A being when you feel shitty and you don't look good, and point B is when you're fucking shredded and people are like, this guy's fucking shredded. Step 1, find out how many calories you need on a daily basis. Step 2, create a macronutrient plan, so how many proteins, fats, and carbohydrates you need every day. Step 3, make it sustainable. And step 4, make the adjustments that you need to make to get you closer to your goal. This is how I got from where I was 16 weeks out to where I am now, which has been a huge change. So step 1 is you gotta find out how many calories you actually need. How you do that is you take a simple equation. There's loads of them out there. You can just go onto a BMR calculator and find out how many calories you're burning at rest. So let's say you're a 180 pound guy and it turns out that you're burning 2,500 calories a day. So that's your baseline. So you eat that for a week, don't change your training, just do the same thing every day. If your weight goes up, obviously you're eating too much for the amount of exercise you're doing. If your weight goes down, you're exercising too much for the amount of food you're taking in. After a week or so, you should be able to realize exactly where you lie. So let's just say you're at 2,500 calories. Then you take that and you break it down into the different macronutrients, protein, fat, and carbs. This is what works for me. I'll take 1.2 grams per pound of body weight, and that will be my protein. 0.5 grams per pound will be my fat, and then the rest will go to carbohydrates. So that's your maintenance level. If you want to put on some muscle, my advice would be to go 10 to 15 grams above that threshold, and you should be aiming to gain between a half pound to a pound a week. This approach will mean that you can gain lean mass without gaining large amounts of fat. So this is the ideal off-season approach. If you want to get leaner, you're going to take off between 10 to 15 grams of carbohydrates off that. This seems low, but there's no point in making any drastic changes because if 10 grams works, why take 50? You're just gonna decrease your calories down to a point where you're hungry all the time, you've got less energy, and a lethargic guy that's in a bad mood, he's not gonna train hard and, life's gonna suck. Step 2, track it. Build yourself a solid meal plan. This doesn't mean that you have to eat the same thing every day. It means that you can use an app like MyFitnessPal, or you can even use an Excel spreadsheet that has meal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or however many meals you want to take in a day. It doesn't really make a big difference. When you have your structure together and you have your protein, fats, and carbs in that app, this is going to be your staple plan. The reason why this is so important is because this is like this stress-free meal program that you can follow, which means that you're not like weighing different foods all the time. If you're eating the same thing every day, you know that I'm getting X protein, X fat, and X carbs, so there's not really any concern there. Step 3, and I think this is like really, really important, and this is where people fall off the wagon all the time. How many times have you heard of someone like your aunt that goes and starts Weight Watchers or starts some like ridiculous program like, I'm gonna eat baby food for the next 2 weeks, or I'm gonna eat purely bell peppers? It's clearly not gonna work. You're not eating fucking bell peppers, like, it fucking sucks. So it has to be sustainable. And the way to make something sustainable is by making it a lifestyle. I call it the have your cake and eat it too approach, where you have your stable plan, and then outside of that, you can incorporate different foods for mental sanity. Because processed foods, although they're not good for you and they're not the best thing to have, and they're gonna cause negative hormonal changes in your body a lot of the time, completely cutting them out and pretending they're not there and pretending they don't taste good also isn't a good thing. So incorporate them sparingly. So you're not like, you know, sitting up at 12 o'clock at night thinking to yourself, oh man, I fucking crushed 10 donuts. Have one, or have a half of one, split it with someone, and go back to eating your micronutrient dense foods. This can be a sustainable approach for a long time, and all you have to do is make small adjustments to your diet. So step 4 is making these adjustments. And it's probably the trickiest part. And this is why a lot of contests and prep coaches, you know, get so much leeway with their clients, because, you know, people are afraid to make adjustments to their own diet, and they're afraid to listen to their body, and they want people to tell them what to do. It doesn't need to be that complicated though. Once you have your set macros and you're achieving your weight loss or your weight gain, if I'm losing a pound a week at 2,500 calories doing X amount of training, there's gonna come to a point where our body is gonna go back to homeostasis and we're gonna plateau. So if you wanna continue losing weight, you've gotta make some adjustments. My advice here is don't do anything drastic, because if you do something drastic, you're gonna get some crazy results in 2 or 3 days, and then what are you gonna do after? You're gonna make some other drastic change, and after that it just kind of snowballs and it's just not good. You change one variable at a time, because if you change 4, you're not gonna know whether it was the drop in calories or the increase in training or the addition of a certain supplement or whatever. You're just not gonna know. So if you're losing a pound a week on 2,500 calories and you plateau, add a conditioning session every week, or increase your training intensity a little bit and see if that causes your plateau to break and you start losing weight again. You don't have to rely on ordering pizza or, you know, going to like a fast food joint. You can make really, really tasty stuff at home. Like, I understand that protein powder is processed, but like, you know, I'm getting oatmeal in, and it doesn't have to be this boring, flavorless, bland stuff that you're like throwing back at night. I'm eating cookies and cream flavored oatmeal with chocolate casein sauce and frozen berries tonight. I'm fucking ripped, you know?